Toronto Maple Leafs in the hunt for Jonathan Toews, a dream come true for fans? In a story that's creating quite a buzz among fans and NHL analysts, renowned journalist Frank Seravalli of Daily Faceoff revealed that the Toronto Maple Leafs have expressed interest in signing a big-name player to strengthen their roster, Jonathan Toews, a three-time Stanley Cup champion and hockey icon. It's no secret that the Leafs have been searching for reinforcements at the center position, especially after Auston Matthews' injury, and Toews could be exactly the missing piece needed to push the team toward the long-coveted title. While the Leafs secured their second consecutive victory over the New York Islanders last Thursday, general manager Brad Treliving continued to scour the market. The need for a third-line center has become increasingly urgent, especially with the uncertainty surrounding Matthews' recovery, and Toews would be an almost ideal solution. The news was announced on Amazon Prime's hockey show Coast to Coast, where Seravalli emphasized that Toews, now 36 years old, is determined to make a comeback after more than 2 years away from the game due to health issues. "I can tell you that Jonathan Toews has resumed skating and is feeling better than he has in years," Seravalli revealed. He's also back to his ideal playing weight, and several teams have already shown interest in signing him, including the Toronto Maple Leafs. Besides the Leafs, Seravalli mentioned that the Colorado Avalanche and Winnipeg Jets are also closely monitoring Toews' situation. However, the player's future remains uncertain. He and his agent, Pat Brisson, have yet to decide whether he will return this season or wait until September. If Toews decides to come back now, he would need to be on an NHL team's reserve list by the trade deadline on March 7, added Seravalli. For Leafs fans, the possibility of seeing Toews don the blue and white jersey is thrilling. After all, we're talking about a player who needs no introduction, third overall pick in the 2006 draft, three-time Stanley Cup winner, two-time Olympic gold medalist, World Cup of Hockey champion, World Junior gold medalist, and Conn Smythe Trophy winner. Few players boast such an impressive resume, and if Toews does return, he's almost guaranteed to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Beyond the accolades, Toews would bring something the Leafs have been seeking for years: leadership and championship experience. Even though his best individual seasons are behind him, he can still provide a solid presence on the third line, helping to stabilize the team's bottom six. And let's be honest, any Toronto fan would dream of an already talented roster, featuring Matthews, Marner, and Nylander, being complemented by the winning mentality of someone like Toews. Adding a player of this caliber might be the key ingredient the Leafs have been missing to finally break their decades-long championship drought. The team has faced criticism in recent years for failing to make the decisive leap in the playoffs, and Toews knows exactly what it takes to win under such high-pressure circumstances. Furthermore, signing Toews would be a strategic move from an emotional standpoint. Hockey is a sport where morale and confidence play a huge role, and having a three-time champion in the locker room could inspire the entire team. Imagine the impact his presence would have on the Leafs' young stars, who would have the opportunity to learn directly from one of the greatest leaders in recent NHL history. Still, questions remain. After such a long absence, how will Toews' physical condition hold up at the highest level? Will he be able to keep up with the pace of an increasingly fast and dynamic league? And, of course, how much would the Leafs be willing to pay for a player who, while legendary, is no longer the force he was a decade ago? Even with these uncertainties, the mere mention of Toronto as one of Toews' preferred destinations is enough to excite fans. For a franchise that has long lived under the shadow of unmet expectations, any move that signals ambition and a desire to win is welcome. While we wait for further updates, one thing is clear: the prospect of seeing Toews in a Leafs uniform makes every fan's heart beat a little faster. Deep down, we all know that if there's a chance to finally break the curse and bring the Stanley Cup back to Toronto, it lies in bold decisions like this one. Brad Treliving has a unique opportunity in his hands. And we, passionate fans, can only wait and hope that Toews decides Toronto is the perfect place to end his glorious career, hopefully with one more championship to his name. If there's one thing Toronto Maple Leafs fans are familiar with, it's waiting. Waiting for that big move, waiting for playoff success, waiting for a Stanley Cup parade down Bay Street. With Brad Treliving at the helm, fans have been holding their breath for a key acquisition that could push the team to the next level. The potential addition of Jonathan Toews offers not just hope, but the promise of something even more important: a winning mindset. Toews isn't just any veteran player looking for a team. He's a proven leader who captained the Chicago Blackhawks during one of the most dominant eras in recent NHL history. His ability to perform under pressure, coupled with his composure in critical moments, makes him an appealing target for a team that has struggled to translate regular season success into postseason triumphs. For a franchise like the Leafs, which has faced countless playoff heartbreaks, adding someone with his pedigree could be transformative. One of the key reasons why Toews could be an ideal fit in Toronto is the stability he would bring to the team's third line. Over the past few seasons, the Leafs have had difficulty finding a reliable center to anchor their bottom six, often cycling through different players without consistent success. Toews, even at 36, would provide a steady presence, capable of winning crucial faceoffs, contributing defensively, and chipping in offensively when needed. More than that, Toews' leadership could extend beyond his on-ice contributions. Young players like Nick Robertson, Matthew Knies, and Timothy Liljegren could benefit immensely from being around someone of his caliber. The intangibles that Toews brings, work ethic, professionalism, and experience in high-pressure situations, could have a lasting impact on the Leafs' next generation of stars. Another factor that plays in favor of Toronto pursuing Toews is the current makeup of the team. With elite talent at the top in Matthews, Marner, and Tavares, the Leafs don't need Toews to be the player he was in his prime. Instead, they need him to be a complementary piece, someone who can fill a crucial role and help lift the burden from a team's top stars during grueling playoff series. The timing of this potential move is also intriguing. With the trade deadline approaching, Treliving knows that time is of the essence. The Leafs are in win-now mode, and every decision from here on out will be scrutinized by fans and analysts alike. Adding Toews would signal that the Leafs are all in, willing to take risks in pursuit of a championship. However, it's important to temper expectations. Toews hasn't played in over 2 years, and while reports indicate he's in great shape, there's no guarantee he can immediately return to form. Even so, the upside is significant. If he's anywhere near the player he was before his hiatus, he could become one of the most valuable trade deadline acquisitions in recent memory. Additionally, the cost to acquire Toews might not be as high as other high-profile targets. Given his age, time away from the game, and potential uncertainty about his long-term plans, it's likely that Toews wouldn't command a hefty price tag in terms of assets or salary. This makes the risk much lower for the Leafs, who still need to be mindful of their cap situation while trying to maximize the current roster. For Toronto fans, the idea of adding Toews brings back memories of past mid-season trades that revitalized the team. From Doug Gilmour to Matt Sundin, the Leafs have a history of bold moves that energize both the locker room and the fanbase. A move for Toews could have a similar effect, giving fans something to rally behind as the team heads into the final stretch of the season. Ultimately, this potential acquisition isn't just about numbers or statistics. It's about identity. The Toronto Maple Leafs, for all their talent, have struggled to forge a championship identity. They've been labeled as a team that falters when it matters most. Bringing in a player like Jonathan Toews, who embodies everything it takes to win, could help change that narrative once and for all. Whether or not this move comes to fruition remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, if Jonathan Toews chooses to make Toronto his new home, the excitement and hope among fans will be unlike anything we've seen in years. For a franchise that's been waiting far too long, this might finally be the move that leads them to the promised land. Still, even if Toews' return is confirmed, there will be questions about how his role will evolve in a team filled with offensive firepower. Will Treliving and head coach Sheldon Keefe ask him to focus purely on defensive responsibilities, or will they give him the freedom to create offensively, as he did during his prime years in Chicago?